So last 3 evenings, we were talking about, transforming or dealing with enemy or obstacles of external nature, internal nature. And now today we are supposed to talk about the secret animal, secret obstacle. You will find this often in Buddhist prayers, like that, many prayers. And there, may the outer obstacles dissolve outside or outwardly. May the inner obstacles dissolve inside or and may the secret obstacles dissolve into the space or something like that. And so maybe there, people talk about outer obstacles and inner obstacles, or outer enemies and inner enemies. But secret one is a little bit not so, I don't hear it so much. But in Buddhism, especially in the Vajrayana Buddhism, we find that said again and again. And what is the secret obstacle? Secret obstacle is something that we do not usually see as obstacle, or see or understand as obstacle or enemy, or accept as obstacle or enemy, but it can become enemy or obstacle. And this sometimes you can't say that this is the only one, because it could be different. It can come in different ways. But the main thing is something that you don't really know, or you don't consider as an obstacle, but actually it becomes an obstacle. There is usually some of the examples given is like, you think it is actually a really good thing in the practice, or actually you think that it's a solution. And then you use that solution in such a way, or you wrongly use it in such a way that actually it becomes a problem. That's the secret obstacle. Yeah. And sometimes, what do you call it? The Dharma practice, or the, the spiritual practice that we do itself can become a problem. Like, I think that I am a Buddhist. I am a Buddhist. Buddhism is very good, it's the best. And then nothing but Buddhism is good. And then, I must make everybody practice Buddhism. And anybody is not Buddhist, there's something totally wrong with them. And then, if I am too much attached to that, it could be a big problem, not for only others, but also for myself, because I can't see any good thing in any other way, because Buddhist practice is very good, maybe. It's okay. But if I make it too much like that, it can become a big problem. I can become what we call, what do you call it? Huh? Worse than that. Fanatic. Yeah, I can become a fanatic. And that's very bad thing for me. I can do that with everything. I can do that with. I'm not just a Buddhist. I'm a Tibetan Buddhist, and only the Tibetan Buddhist is really the good one. Nothing else. And among the Tibetan Buddhists, I could say that I am like Kajupa or something like that, and that's the only one that's. And then among the Kajupas, there are lots of different Kajupas also. The Kama Kaju is the only one. And things like that, you can go down to anything. You can take anything like that. Even like we have 6 paramitas. You can 6 paramitas is what? Like generosity, giving. That's one of the 6 paramitas. Good conduct, good ethics is one of the 6 paramitas. Patience is one of the 6 paramitas, and diligence is one of them, meditation, wisdom. I can also make all of them, each of them, into a problem. Yeah? It's possible. I can make generosity also into an obstacle for myself and others. If I, do it in a bad way, like I have to be generous, like too much something or too little something, or in a little bit wrong way, and also, I have to be very, very like strictly, ethical. I cannot, I have to be, I cannot look at anybody. I cannot touch anybody. I cannot, like that, too much. It can be a problem, There's a little bit of a story, one time, 2 monks, one elderly monk and one young monk were traveling. And usually monks are not supposed to touch ladies, and especially the young ones. And then, there was a young lady, very beautiful young lady, standing at the river crossing. There's a river. And she said, can you help me? I cannot cross this river. It's too. So the elder monk said, oh, you just, hold on my back. You come on my back. I can carry you. So she came on her back, his back, and he carried him. And then he left it other side, and then they walked. And then they're walking and walking and walking. And after a few hours, this young man said, aren't we not supposed to touch the woman? He said, yeah, but you carried that lady across the river. He said, oh, I left her at the other bank, but are you still carrying her? There are lots of things like that, like if you're too much, too strict or too kind of literal, or, then it becomes a problem. It's not the right way. Everything, including meditation, meditation can become a problem if we don't do it the right way. And anything, anything can become like that. So therefore, one needs to, one needs to understand this. One needs to understand this. And so therefore, Buddha talked about middle way, Middle way means like not an extreme, with understanding, with compassion, with kindness, so according to the, situation to situation, not only like just the word, following the words, but the what can you say? There are two things, there is the words, and then the how do you say that? Huh? Yeah, meaning or the real purpose, real purpose behind. Sometimes we can just, this is what Buddha said, so that's it. We have to do that. But Buddha said, you do this in this, because, why Buddha instructed you to do that. If that is, why you actually do this is violated, then doing that is not a good thing, so therefore, there is all these things, and so that's why we need to, try to understand, try to, become. That's why Buddha said, again and again, that everything that people say, or, he said, you don't need to believe, or you need to believe anything, because just it is written in the scripture. You don't have to believe it just because lots of people believe it. You don't have to believe it because, I, Buddha, you might think that the Buddha is very trustworthy and very enlightened. So I have said it, and that's why you should not believe it. You have to investigate. You have to think properly. You have to, examine. He said, like the goldsmith examines the gold. Goldsmith examines the gold in three ways: by rubbing, by cutting, and by melting. First, you rub it. You rub it on a kind of a little bit coarse, surface. And if it is not gold, you immediately know. If it is just like a copper or bronze or, brass or something like that, you immediately know. But sometimes it's outside gold, but inside not gold, So you have to cut it. If you cut it, then you find that outside a little bit gold, but inside not gold. So you will find that. It's also. But sometimes, even then, you cannot totally find it, because you can what can you say? You can mix gold with other things, like copper or, other metals. And then for that, you have to melt. If you melt, then it will separate. So in the same way, he said, we have to examine anything first with understanding, then with investigation, asking questions and, making investigations. And thirdly, by actually experiencing yourself. And then if you find that, then that's it. So therefore, it's very important to, not just accept, but, try to understand and, find out. So therefore, so this is the thing, we can have also like practices and teachings and many things. But say like I'm doing something called Dharma practice, and I got some instructions, something like that. So whether that really is helping me or not helping me, or it's the right way or not, or sometimes you can overdo it, sometimes you can slightly wrongly do it, you can sometimes misunderstand it, things like that. So we need to we need to find out. So this is what we call this secret obstacles. And it's not, this is one example I'm talking about. There could be different things in different ways and things like that. So what is the main what can you say, main solution to this? Is that we have to open our mind, open our heart, and with clarity, with because when we open our mind and open our heart, then we can see things in a more kind of a broader sense, more in a clear way, more from different angles, and through that we can understand things more deeply, and we can listen. We can listen to different people, and also we don't need to believe everything that everybody says. About everything. Lots of people will say lots of different things. And this is very important, I think, that you listen to one person and she says something. You listen to another person, he says something about the same thing. You listen to another person, and then you start to see, where is the, which is correct, or, there could be a little bit correct in every one of them, but little bit not correct in any, but, or they have different ways of saying, but actually it comes to the same thing, So this is why we have to understand that way. And therefore, it's important to listen, to open-minded, to everybody, not necessarily accepting and be gullible, like, and kind of, what can you say, trust or accept just like that everything, anybody says something, but with certain kind of clarity, certain, certain kind of investigation and, wisdom and broad-mindedness and things like that, then, it is more or less easy to find out how things are. And then you try to apply that on yourself, apply that on others, and, and then you become a little bit much more, much more, what can you say? I think it's very important that anything is this, everything is not black and white. It's very little you can black and white. It's this is right. This is the only one that is right. This is wrong. This is only wrong. You never find that. There's nothing like that. Everything is, there's some good sides, some not so good side, and and sometimes both are good. the way you accept it, it could be both useful. Maybe this one is very, very good for some people, and this one is very good for another people. Then there's nothing wrong with anybody then. There are lots of things like that, So when we little bit understand this, I think it becomes that our mind becomes more broad, more accommodating, more what can you say? More more equanimity. Equanimity is sometimes not bad. Yeah. Equanimity, sometimes people understand that I don't care, I mean, it doesn't matter, whatever, it's in a bad sense, like I don't care, I'm not concerned, I'm totally like, whatever happened, that's also one equanimity. But another equanimity is that I'm more clear. I could be more clear, and therefore I don't, I see more clearly that everything that is, or everybody and all different opinions and anything has their, their positive side and a little bit not so positive side, or maybe nothing negative side, but it has their own things. So when you understand that and clearly, then also you become a little bit, equanimity, this person is my friend. He has his own qualities, He has his own qualities. He has his own, what you can call not so good qualities also, yeah? Because nobody can be totally 100% perfect. So everybody has their own, things. It's, nobody is totally exactly the same. It can't be. So therefore, if I start to appreciate the qualities of this person, and I could also appreciate the qualities of other person, although it could be totally different. Yeah. And when I can do that, then I can appreciate everybody. Yeah. Because everybody has lots of positive qualities. And so therefore, I don't have to choose from one to the other. I don't have to prefer from one to the other, because they all have their own positive side and they all have their own positive qualities. And, so therefore, when that understanding becomes, then you can actually like them all. You can appreciate them all. You can, you can have a very equal way of seeing, that doesn't mean that, they're all same. It doesn't mean that they're all exactly the same. They're very different, but because they are different, so therefore they have their own. So that understanding, I think, is very important. And that's the same with anything, in ourselves, in our, different systems, different, different types of people, or different, different cultures and different, very different. People are very different. I can see that Germans are different from French. I might like some qualities in German more than French, but I might like some qualities in French more than German, There's one very bad quality in German. They can't tell jokes. And they say, we don't tell you our jokes because they are all a little bit, I don't know what to say, a little bit dirty. But I'm not sure. I'm joking. It's not true. But anyway, there are difference. There are difference between no two person can be same. It's totally, and everything is like that. Everything is like that. Like very recently, Reddick made a poster on this topic, on this, these talks. And some people like it. Some people didn't like it at all. And those who didn't like it, wrote me, Reddick made this, do you really like it? I didn't reply. First, I don't want to get involved in this kind of discussion. On top of that, so what? Maybe it's not the best. So what? It's okay. Some people might like it. Some people might not like it, and you cannot make something that everybody likes. It's almost impossible. No. So what, he made efforts to make this, and then, that's good enough for me, actually, I have this, I don't know, it's a good habit or bad habit, maybe bad habit, but I let people do whatever they want to do. Because I'm too lazy. Actually, that's why, whatever people say, should we do this? I always say, why not? Sometimes it gets me into trouble also, but doesn't matter. A little bit trouble is so what? Yeah. So, oh yes, a little bit trouble is also okay, I think. Yeah. I think it's okay, I sometimes do things. I happen to do things which I have no talent or no, quality of doing it, Because if nobody can do it, then somebody has to do it. So, I try to do it, and if it works, it's okay. If it doesn't work, they will blame me. They will blame me 1 or 2 days, and then they will forget about it. So what? Unless it's going to create a huge kind of, harm to lots of people. I was asked to translate the Kalachakra teachings of the Dalai Lama into Nepali language. And I have not done one class in Nepali language in my whole life. And, my Nepali, although everybody speaks a little bit Nepali in Sikkim, but my Nepali is not good at all. Even my family members, laugh at my Nepali a little bit because I'm not good. And I am now translating for Dalai Lama when there were 130,000 people listening to, and almost everybody spoke Nepali, and many of them also a little bit of Tibetan, but they didn't find any translators, so they said, you are the one, they just imposed it on me. I just went there, and the secretary to come, His Holiness Dalai Lama, and the secretary of the Sikkim government said, you are the translator tomorrow. I said, what? You are Nepali translator. I said, I can't do Nepali translation because I don't know Nepali. They say, yeah, but everybody says you are the right one. So what to do, you know? And His Holiness said, you must have a Nepali translator. And then, you know, what to do now? Of course, I didn't get good sleep, but still, you know, I got the help of, you know, Nepali professor in my university. He says, but I can't do it because I don't know Buddhism, I don't know Tibetan, I don't know much English. He said, just come with me, you know. So we went there, and then I don't know what to do because if I speak, I think, you know, 130,000 people will laugh, you know? Not with good way. Then finally I said, you speak. You speak. I'll tell you in my, you know, in your ear, in my, you know, broken Nepali, with all the, you know, a little bit of English, a little bit of whatever comes up, I tell you, and then you say it. So I did that, you know, I told him with my usual broken, with the way we communicate, you know, we are all friends, so he knows me. Even before I say, he knows what I'm going to say. So we did that, and then it went great success, you know, because everybody was. We went to congratulate him, you know, because he has a good voice. He has a, you know, power of, you know, oration, you know, oratory. So, you know, everybody was, you know, and he could get, you know, little gist of what is, and, you know, that I could give him, you know. Luckily, I studied little Sanskrit, so therefore I could get, you know, I had the terms. So like that, you know, I wouldn't tell you the rest of the story because there are many more. But anyway, you know, it's like that. You know, what's wrong? At the worst, people will, you know, laugh at me. So people can laugh at me anyway. You know, sometimes people, you know, when everywhere I go in this dress, and, you know, they say, why this dress? Why you don't, you know, these people sometimes, you know, look, don't they look too much at you? I said, yeah, of course they look at me. He said, they don't mind. He says, why do I mind? They can look at me, I can look at them. So if I wear something so strange, then if they don't look at me, that's strange. Yeah. So, but I never minded. And I think it's okay because I actually got lots of, never any bad problem, only benefit. Because they see me and say, oh, Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama. Some people say, are you Dalai Lama? I said, no, I'm not Dalai Lama, but I am a follower of Dalai Lama. Oh, it's very good. You know, sometimes they even, you know, give me tea or coffee, you know. Recently, I was in Monaco, you know, Monte Carlo, you know. And it was very difficult to find a you know, table for lunch because, you know, there were so many people, and it's the Formula #1 was about to happen, and, you know, there are so many people. And then somehow we got in, and then one nice you know, person came, and they gave us a seat, and not only a seat, but they gave us a free, what do you call this? Sweet afterwards. What's that? sweet things you eat after dessert. They gave me free sweets, free dessert. Because of this, So what's wrong? Like that. So, maybe some people look at me a little strangely, sometimes maybe. So what? Anyway, that's not really there is no secret obstacle. You can make it. You can make it a secret. If I'm too kind of, when somebody looking at me in a certain way, then I don't know, they're looking at me. Then it's a problem. I can make it a problem myself. No, but I don't need to make it a problem. What's wrong? If I make myself something strange, which is not usual, then people will say it's something strange, not so usual. So what's the problem? It's okay. I don't have to be so, so upset with that, because sometimes people are upset because of all the unnecessary reasons, People see you something like in a different way or some, everybody is different, So I don't think it is possible that when you go to a place, or especially a new place or a new job or something like that, it's not possible that everybody will immediately say, oh, you are very good, we accept you, and, it's not possible because they don't know you. They can't know you because you just come in. They can't appreciate you because they don't know how you are, So you have to slowly build up that confidence, familiarity, the friendship and things like that. And then meanwhile, then maybe it could become very well, you can make friends, you can bring confidence in others, slowly, you can be accepted, and then, things like that. It must take time, because if somebody just immediately first day, the most kind of dearest friend to you, you have to be a little bit, what's going on, how can somebody immediately see you and totally trust? It's not possible. Maybe they have another agenda, So, it's like that. So this is, I think, important to understand. But anyway, so, this, secret is not something that you can too much discuss because, it could be lots of things, many things. But I think important to understand that sometimes some things that you consider is really, the solution can also become an obstacle. That's the main thing. So therefore, there also you have to, try to see, understand, try to, little bit, what can you say? Make your, more clear, more, more broad-minded, more, things like that. And not too much expectation also, because lots of things can become problem because you expect too much also, and of course, when you say something like, this has to be the, if you do this kind of things, this practice, this meditation, then it will happen like this, and then but it's not necessary that immediately it happens like that also, or, that much, things like that. And many times you need to practice a lot to get, results and things like that. And also, you cannot necessarily see the results so easily, you know. Like yesterday, or was it yesterday or something? You know, somebody asked, you know, that I don't really see, or I feel that all my practice has been not very good because I got a little bit angry and, you know, upset with the, you know, with the argument and the discussions and things like that, you know. We feel like that. But as I said yesterday, it does not necessarily mean that your practice has not been good. Actually, when you say that my practice was not as good as I expect, it's good practice, I think. You know, I think it's good practice, because you said, you know, or some people say, I have not practiced as much as I should have practiced. It's very good practice. If somebody says, I practice more than I should have practiced, that's very bad. You know? So therefore, you know, this, you know, the result is also a little bit, you know, if I feel that, you know, I've done practice, and I have all my results, and I'm almost enlightened, then something wrong. Then there's something very wrong. Because, you know, you are a little bit, you know, taken over by your pride or arrogance or something like that, you know. So if you find somebody coming and saying, I'm enlightened, that's the time you have to run away. I think, you know. So, you know, anyway, I think I should not say too much, because I should not, you know, spend too much time in talking myself. As I said again and again, I will spend lots of time for discussion, but I talked most of the time. And so, you know, I would like to open this for discussion, and anybody who wants to, you know, say anything can say.
Thank you very much. I like to listen to you. It's
Thank
so
you.
anti, what, wrong?
Anti-dharma.
Anti-dharma.
Anti-lama.
You're the first teacher I think he's trustworthy when he says he's lazy. I'm a little bit more serious about secret enemies. I've got the feeling that when you talk about that, those are perhaps the devil in angels' clothes. That's the wrong side. It's the wrong view intending a good view. I think this is the thing with the gold. I heard it often to prove the teacher's words, like proof gold. I heard that for years and years and years. But there's so many people who don't. It goes in here and out there, because they confound the teacher with their own capacities. And they think that the teacher saves them from all the evil. And this is not what the Buddha wanted us, I think. On the other hand, I think sometimes when you talk with other people and you want to do things you want them to do, and as a teacher, you can be seduced by the confidence of the students and can make them things that you want that you want them to do. This is a seduction as a teacher, or as when you try to share wisdom and you see that you're trustworthy, then there comes a kind of snake which makes you feel that you have to take care of your teaching, that you're teaching people not because they should do what you want them to do, but they should listen and take it in their heart and then do what they want to do. And I think that also in the Buddhism in West, there's too much wrong respect for teachers, wrong respect. They think they would help them to lose their problems because they are sitting higher than we do, for instance. This is a big problem, I think. Also, because power is coming in the game.
You are right. You are right. You know, I don't consider myself as anti-Lama or anti-Dharma. But that's what I, that's not only I feel, that's written in the books, it's not, I'm not saying anything that I cannot find, I cannot give you the quotations from. I don't want to give all the quotations, but whatever I'm trying to say, I have a what kind of scriptural support for that, And but when I'm saying I'm lazy, it's true that I'm lazy, So what can I say otherwise? But that's okay, Sometimes people think that, when I say I'm lazy, they think, oh, we have to also become lazy. I say, no, that's totally not the idea. You should not be lazy. But not lazy, but there is, you should not become lazy. Lazy is very bad. That I know very well. That's why I say I'm lazy. Lazy, I'm not lazy in everything, I'm not lazy in eating. I don't miss any meals, not even breakfast. Even if it is at 6 o'clock, I'm there on time. Even 5 o'clock, I never miss any meals. And many things like that, I'm usually not late. I'm far before time. People who would drive me or something like that, and they have problems because I am about to go like at least half an hour before time, and then they get a little bit what can you say, nervous because they are not ready and I'm all ready, and saying is it not time? Things like that. But I'm lazy with my Dhamma practice. I'm lazy with meditation. And so therefore I say I'm lazy. There's no, there's nothing, it's just plain. fact, nothing. I shouldn't be, I think I should be, of course, more diligent, but I'm not. So that's, and I don't feel terribly bad about it also. That's because, I enjoy my life. I've learned one most important thing, and that's how to sleep without lying down. Yeah. So I can do prayers, sometimes this Tibetan system, the prayer goes hour after hour and after, but I can, sleep. Sometimes it goes a little like this. So therefore, when I'm very good at traveling, whether it's by train, by bus, or car, or flight, because I can sleep, I can sometimes sleep better sitting up than lying down. Sometimes I get, the business class. And then the first time I got business class, it's also many times like that it happened. I think I get business because I fly a lot sometimes. So therefore, one time I was I was going to India, I think, and I was at the Munich airport, and they said, "Oh, if you don't fly today, but tomorrow, we will give you a 5-star hotel tonight, and we will give you back 500 or something like that euros, and then tomorrow we will fly you." I was so much tempted, but I couldn't because I had something going on next day. And then I said, "No, but I really want to do that, but I can't do this." Then they gave me what call it, promotion, upgrade, and gave me not first class, but business class. So I thought, no, how I will sleep well, because you can lie down. So I lie down, and then don't sleep at all. I was tossing in here and there for about half an hour. And then finally I said, "No, you sit up." And I sit up and immediately go to go to sleep. And I wake up in Delhi. I'm that good. So therefore, that's the only thing I learned from all my monastic training. But that's very bad also because, when I do the meditation, then I get up and I sit on my bed, put my, those are on top, and then I start to, meditate. And then I start to meditate, and then don't know what happens. And suddenly I wake up, and then it's 2 hours, ready for breakfast. I think I can say I was in samadhi. It's kind of samadhi, but not very conscious samadhi. So that's why I say, and on top of that, I sleep even during the time of teaching of His Holiness Dalai Lama. I cannot control it. I saw I always see, actually, not one time. the video, usually because I'm a monk and I have this kind of, they always put me on the stage, when the Dalai Lama comes, they put me on the stage. And His Holiness Dalai Lama has been very kind to me. Many times he even allowed me to introduce like his empowerments and things like that. So I am kind of, become VIP there. And then later on, I watched the video, and I'm sitting there, and because there, I'm like the whole time, so embarrassing, and nobody can erase it because I'm just sitting behind the translator. And it's not in one, this whole, videos after videos, but I can't do anything. So anyway, that's so if I say I'm diligent, I'm hardworking, then everybody can see. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, did I answer? I don't think I have to answer his questions because yes, one thing, it's true that the lamas are there. The lamas can be of many different kinds. Yeah. Everybody who is coming with the robe is not the perfect lama. Yeah. We sit on the throne. Usually that's kind of that's the custom. Not because of the lama, but because of the dharma. In order to show interest and respect to the teaching, then the teacher or whoever is giving the teaching is placed on the throne. Not necessarily that person is the most perfect one, but because what he's going to talk about is something valuable. This is very important to understand because many times I see that people think, oh, he's sitting on the throne, so therefore he must be very kind of high or qualified or somebody. It's not necessarily like that. That's one thing. And then how high the throne is has nothing too much to do with the quality of the Lama. It's just the students, If I am somebody's student, I want to put him high. I want to show him lots of, kind of respect. So I put, one cushion after another on cushion, and I made it very high. And then the others said, oh, he must be very high Lama. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that, he has some very enthusiastic students. Yeah, it's one thing. Another thing is that, how qualified the Lama is sometimes the one who looks like nothing can be the most qualified one. It doesn't, he has lots of, the one who has lots of entourage and who's wearing the most beautiful brocade is not necessarily, But that's something which we cannot totally 100% see, because, it depends on, the monastery, if he has lots of monks and things like that, then they put him in that, things like that. But most of the lamas, I think, I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's not true, but I think it's like myself. which is, very ordinary. Some lamas must be very highly realized. I'm sure they are. But many should be, not totally 100% realized. Yeah. So, I think it is, usually they say you have to see your teacher as a Buddha, or, totally like Vajradhara or something like that. But that doesn't come naturally. Yeah. That is not the beginning, that's the end. If you can see your or any Lama really like a Buddha, then that's the best, because then that shows that you accept yourself has that, that way of being. And that if you see your teacher as fully enlightened, most probably you see other people also quite well, highly, very good, But it's not that, I must see my teacher as enlightened, although I know he's not. That doesn't sound right. It's not, I think, if somehow I listen or I receive the teachings from the teacher, and I know that what he's teaching is according to the Dharma, and then if I know that he is himself or herself actually, living by what he's talking, then I think he is a qualified Lama. Yeah. If my teacher is walking the talk, then I see him as a qualified teacher. I don't judge how good my teacher is by how nicely he can talk, but how his own way of living is similar to what he's talking about. Yeah. And then if I practice what he's talking and try to practice a little bit, and then if I get some experience or, some result of that, then it is natural that my trust, my trust and my view about my teacher becomes improved. The more I get some result, the more I see the teacher as higher or more better or more. So if my practice has been so good that I actually, really truly, transformed myself, then there is no reason I should not see my teacher as a Buddha, because that's what Buddha does. The Buddha can't do anything more. He shows you the way, and then whoever can actually follow the way, then you get yourself benefited and transformed. So then I don't have to try to see him or her as enlightened, but I naturally see him. If that happens, then that's the biggest result. But that's not in the beginning. It can't happen right from the beginning. It has to be the end result. So therefore, to say that you have to see your teacher as the Vajradhara or the Buddha or things like that as a demand, I think doesn't work. So therefore, we have to start by seeing our teacher as a person like myself. He has studied. We have to find that he has to study from genuine teachers, because if he has not, then he's not a teacher. Yeah, he should have studied, he should have some understanding, and maybe, studied from a genuine teacher and things like that. That's why lineage is important. That we can find out easily. That we have to find out. Otherwise, it's no use. Sometimes people will say, I am student of so-and-so. Sometime ago here, there was one person, he said, I am student of the great master, something like that. And then I want to come and teach here. And then people wrote to me, do you know this person? He says he's a student of so-and-so. I said, I don't know, but ask him, ask the teacher. And they wrote to the teacher, and he says, I don't know him at all. So, so these things is easily find out. Yeah. So therefore, then it's when we are like that, then we don't need to expect too much from the teacher. The teacher doesn't need to be always, enlightened. It's also very difficult to find enlightened, and enlightenment is not an easy thing, It's not easy. It's very difficult. So therefore, I don't know how many really enlightened people there are in the world. So it's not, but it's not necessary. If somebody is genuinely have some studies and some, tries to live by the teachings, he's good enough, I think, for me. He's good enough to be my teacher. He doesn't have to be enlightened. And we should not, expect him to be enlightened, So this person is another person like me, have some, studies and, some instructions and, receive teachings, and he's like that. So he's trying to live, but he's ordinary person like us. And then, we should help him to, little bit, to be as much as possible, that he doesn't totally misbehave, he doesn't get totally spoiled, he doesn't get, sometimes it's the students who spoil the teacher. We have to accept that, students spoil the teacher, and maybe teacher himself also take advantage, but, it's both ways, if students don't allow him to do wrong things, then, sometimes people think the teacher has lots of power, but teacher has no power unless the students give them. No, what power they have? He can say, I want this, I want that, or something like that. And then, like one time, there was a teacher who came to our center, and the people ask, what do you want, that we can do for you? What you can do? He says, I want a car. And they wrote me, the teacher says he wants a car. I said, why don't you try a car and give it to him? They bought a nice toy, I think, Mercedes car, and gave to him. I don't know whether he was that happy, but I think we should do that, Actually, I have been thinking and also saying this a lot, recently, that all these Dharma students should become very aware that the power of the teacher is in our hands. If we don't give power, he has no power. So therefore, don't think that he's enlightened and he, what he is saying is something totally extraordinary or beyond the world. And then, he does that and then we become, no, nothing happens like that. So therefore, he wants something that is not right, then one should not give him. And then finished. Then you are actually helping him. Actually, you are helping him or her because, you put him in right place, and help him to be in the right way. And that's the most important thing because teacher can also help and, instruct and, and give instructions and teachings and things like that, guidance to the students. But students also have responsibility to keep the teacher, in the right way. Not only give him the best foods, of course you have to give him food, but you wouldn't give him, sometimes they do actually to me, well, not always nowadays. They give me nice food and lots of dessert. I shouldn't say this. No, you should give me lots of dessert. I like. I like almost anything sweet. Yeah, and then the Western make really nice desserts, Germans are also very good, they're very good in making cakes and things like that, very good. So then, if they overfeed me with like sweets, are you helping me or harming me? I don't know, maybe I like it, but in the same way, in everything is like that, no? You have to be, a little bit aware, things like that. That doesn't mean that don't serve me desserts. Serve me desserts, but maybe not so big. It's okay. I'm joking. It's okay. So I think.
We have some questions for me.
Yes, that's why I should not be chatting all the time. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Dirk. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Rinpoche. It's so nice to see you. Rinpoche, I have one joke and I have one question for you. What do you want to hear first?
Yeah, first the joke.
What's the difference between ignorance and apathy?
Huh?
What is the difference between ignorance and apathy? Ignorance and apathy.
But that's not a joke.
The answer is I don't know and I don't care.
Okay, that's maybe a joke.
Okay, then I have a question for you. The question is Samaya. Samaya, on the one hand, I've heard Samaya described as a bond that grows between students and between teachers and students over time. And on the other hand, I heard of Samaya being the vows that one makes when one gets initiations and so on. So would you like to, I'd be grateful if you could give a small explanation about Samaya and the concept of Samaya and what our attitude should be towards Samaya.
Samaya is just the precepts, it's just the precepts. Like for instance, this, in the Vajrayana, you have 14, is it 14? No? 14 main samayas. Now I forget, is it 14 or I think it's 14. Isn't it? 14, yeah?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I can't remember at all.
You have wasted your time.
So I'm asking my teacher.
Very bad. You have failed your exam. I once taught that also here. I think, yes, Sayutong Juji. Yeah, Sato Juji. It's not just, you and your teacher. It's not about bond with your teacher. Yes, it includes that also, but it's the whole, whole kind of practice. Yeah. It's like same as in Vinaya, you have, do's and don'ts. In Bodhisattva also, you have do's and don'ts. The same, it's just called Samaya in the Vajrayana kind of, what you can say, what you call that, terms, terminology. It's not just the teacher and the student. It's also, like respect your teacher, respect your brothers and sisters. Like respect your teacher is one. Respect all your Vajra brothers and sisters means, you're kind of everybody who is doing the same practice, or, things like that. Is also same. Respect all sentient beings is another one. Love and respect all sentient beings is equally same. And then, respect all other religions and faiths, and that's also one of them. So they are, respect every woman is one of them also, like Vajrayana precept, like Samaya, because they have been not being doing too much respect, I think, since that time onwards. So this kind of thing, this 14 principle Samayas, and this is Samaya. It's not just teacher and student. And that's, I think, sometimes a problem, because, you make only like a teacher and student, you have to see your teacher as Buddha and Vajradhara, and, whatever teacher says you have to do is a little bit overemphasized, maybe sometimes.
But we do, I mean, if we have a teacher, so we have a kind of responsibility that grows towards the teacher, surely. And we also have a lineage, so like Haji lineage, and I've received so very much from my lineage and my wonderful teachers. But then I have a corresponding responsibility. So there is a kind of responsibility on my side.
Yeah, you have to respect that, but you have to respect, every sentient being also, so this, this is not just the teacher, this I think is important to have all together. I think we have to study these 14 downfalls a little bit more.
There's another question from Kamanobo.
Okay, Kamanobu.
Rinpoche, I have a joke.
Okay.
Okay. Man goes into the doctor and he's very disturbed. And the doctor says, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Sit down." And he says, "It's my wife, doctor. She thinks it's a chicken." He says, "Oh, that's very bad. Why haven't you brought her in?" He says, "Well, I would, but I need the eggs."
Okay. Some people laughed. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, how are you?
I watched you on the web 2 nights ago, and you very briefly mentioned something called the 4 powers of purification.
Uh-huh.
But you mentioned it very briefly, and it sounded super interesting, like as a how-to manual in order to make transformation happen. So I was wondering if you could say a few more words about it.
That is, this purification. You are you pretending not to know that, or?
No, seriously. It was those 4 steps, the 4-step process.
Then every purification, when you, then we talk about these 4 powers, no? That's first is to kind of see that, the negative deeds that you do are negative and they are harmful and that's not good. So you regret, that's one thing. Second is that, you know the negative effects of this, negative deeds. So you don't want to, you try not to repeat this. You don't want to repeat this. That's the second. And the third is that, you want to do something that is positive, so that to balance or to improve on the negative actions that you do. So you try to increase that positive actions. And then fourth, you have to make certain, you can find some kind of antidotes to that, whenever you have a kind of negative thought or emotion or feeling, you can, some antidote that you learn so that you do not have to, your mind can be diverted from there, like a mantra, like a meditation or a prayer or practice. So these are 4.
So the action part is number 3.
All 3 are action, all 4, because all are like elements that can, if all these 4 is used, then you purify. That's the idea. It's a practice, no? It's a practice. I don't think you need to kind of every time have to, is it the first one is there or second one is not necessarily too much, but generally this 4 is. There's lots of always there's a teaching on this in every kind of purification sutra or practice, but also in like Vajrasattva practice and things like that. In Ringu also.
I wish I was pretending not to know.
There's another question from internet.
There's
another question from internet.
There's one?
Another question from internet.
Okay. Thank you. Come. Which is the one?
You need to turn on your microphone, Jinda.
Me. Margaret,
Oh, hello, Margaret. How are you?
I know where you are by your background.
Yes.
A small comment when you were talking about the teaching students. It was something once along in Chichester at BBG. I think Pema said something about the teacher to you. And you said, I thought it was wonderful. You said, I'm not here teaching you. I'm here making offerings. that felt completely different. So that we all got some stardust from you. I just thought it was better than teacher to me is a bit waggy finger. You have to do this. And you said you're making offerings.
Yeah, you know, teaching is, we talk about the three kind of gifts, you know, three things that you give. First is, you know, giving of the, you know, like material things, you know, you give food, you give, you know, money or material things that helps people. That's one gift. Second gift is the gift of, you know, like protection, and you know, you give like a refuge, you give, you know, kind of love, and you give, you know, some kind of kindness, and you give, you know, you give something that will protect people from, you know. And third is giving guidance and teaching and things like that, so that they can, you know, they can find the right way, and, you know, things like that. So these are the three gifts. You know, when you talk about giving, generosity, these are the three gifts. So all these three are important, but, you know, giving of right guidance is actually very important. So, you know, the teaching should be that gift, you know, and so it is usually said that, you know, to give guidance or teachings in a really good one is the best gift, because if you really can give that, then it can actually benefit in the long term. You know, like if you give some food, you know, it's very important, especially somebody who is hungry. But you can eat it, and then in half a day you will get hungry again. You know? But if you really, you know, give some good guidance, then that can benefit you for whole life and things like that. So that's why regarded as very important gift. Of course, it depends on, but, you know, on person to person and things like that. But that kind of gift is regarded as very important practice for the giver, for the teacher. You know, also it's not, you know, it's not the teachers sometimes, you know, actually my teachers were all like that. You know, my teachers were, I never spent, you can almost say 1 rupee on my education. You know, whichever teacher I approached, that, can you give me teaching? He says, yes. When do you have time? They don't say, I have time this time. When do you have time? If I say I have time, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, oh, come 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, 9 o'clock in the evening, yeah, please come at 9 o'clock. Sometimes 10 o'clock, sometimes 11 o'clock I went. And then they give you the teaching, they give you tea, they give you presents, and they are so happy. Yeah, they really like that, you know. They really like that. Almost all of them are like that. I told you one story, you know, that some of you may not have heard. Once I always studied alone because I made myself busy with all kinds of things. I was working, I was doing so many other things. So I never joined the main class. I went to the teacher, can you teach me, you know, give me this teaching, but I'm only free at 6 o'clock. I didn't say exactly like that, but it happened like that. And then I went there, you know, I got that to this teacher. And then, but they asked me to repeat the yesterday's teaching. That they do. So I repeat the yesterday's teaching, and then they give me a new class, and then I can ask some questions if I have. And then they give me tea, and then I go away. Yeah. And then next day I come like this. And then I was going to this teacher every morning, kind of, more or less. But I am alone, so if I don't come, I don't come. So I don't miss class. So when there's a little bit bad weather, I don't come. And when I'm a little bit feeling lazy, I don't come, and things like that. So one day I came to the class at 6 o'clock, and this teacher just arrived in a jeep, which was totally, muddy, and it's totally full of mud all over the jeep. Arrived, and then he just went in, and I followed him, and he taught me. He gave me the class, and then I finished, and I came back. I came out, and then the jeep was going up to the town, and they said, "Oh, do you want a lift?" Because those times there was not many cars in Sikkim. Now there, over many cars. There's traffic jam. He says, "Yes, I want it. I'm very happy if I get this." I went together, and they says, "Where did Kembo go last night?" They said, "Well, this Kembo, he, somebody died like 5 hours. I wouldn't say the, miles, because it's not that, but it's very bad road. It's a very, very bad road, and it's still bad road actually." And then he went there. Somebody died, and we invited him to do power and things like that. So he went there all night up. But he said, "I must get back at 6 o'clock because there is an important class." And that was just me, who might not have come also. So I was a little bit shocked, like moved, because, just for me, one person to give the class, he risked almost his life, going up all night in this very bad weather and very bad road, and all night back, on this really bad road and bad. So since then, I became a little bit more regular to his class. It's like that. So it was, completely like offering gift, and I never had anything to offer to him, not anything. I don't remember even giving him a flower. I gave him lots of mandala. This way, it's like that, So anyway, so thank you very much. And then we do a dedication. Sunam de Tangje Zeba, Tony Nipe, Danam Pas, Shegang Nanche, Palam Trubai, Sebe, and Sole. But I'm not doing this to give you, make you some important offering. I'm just, I'm just chatting with my friends, I like to chat with my friends, and I see all of you. I don't see, actually, some people don't like it. There was one person, he said, "Are you enlightened?" I said, "I'm not enlightened at all." And he says, "Then maybe you are not worth to be my teacher." I said, "Maybe not, but I regard you as my friend." He said, "You regard me as my friend, you're just my friend." I said, "Yes, I see you as my friend." And that's not good. If you don't see me as my student, then as your student, how can you be, my teacher? I said, "Maybe not," but that's what I said. Then he said, no, now you are not my teacher. You are not my teacher anymore. I said, very good. And then after some months, he wrote, I think I was wrong. I think you are still my teacher. I said, okay, whatever you want. It's okay, doesn't matter. Anyway, so thank you.